Last.
Has anything happened?
No.
Were you worried?
I feel better when there's someone here. Come in. What's it like outside?
Stifling.
Lots of people?
No more than usual. Do you mind if I open your balcony door?
Go ahead. What will you have?
Thanks, nothing for the moment. How did you sleep?
Essentially well. I would put it at 6 hours net. I woke up twice, but only because I needed to pee.
No diarrhea?
On the contrary.
How about dreams?
Nothing memorable, evidently. Do you mind if I close the balcony?
Leave it open a while. So you're all right?
Well, at first glance, I would seem to have no reason to complain today, but in all honesty, I couldn't assert that I'm feeling up to the mark.
Nervous?
Well, I'm always nervous.
And the shakes you had yesterday, all gone?
I'm afraid not. In fact, they're worse. It's almost as if I had caught a chill. Is that somebody coming?
Nothing. Everything's okay.
On top of that, I've got complications, touch of vertigo, suggestion of an upset stomach, tingling in the joints, loss of appetite, and even the possibility of constipation.
Oh, you mean you didn't go this morning?
No.
Are you sure it isn't just a hangover?
My condition has some similarities to a hangover, but it's not a hangover in as much as I hardly touched a drop yesterday.
Well, perhaps there's something wrong with you.
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, that's something to be grateful for, isn't it?
Is it? I'd rather be ill than be well like this. If only I could be sure that they won't come today.
They can't be coming now.
Do you think so? Surely they can come at any time.
Hello.
Hello.
How is he?
The same.
Did you get any meat?
Liver.
Oh, you didn't. Susie.
Yes?
I was up about 8 today. I felt like doing something. I was thinking of making a few notes. I had a piece of paper already, but nothing came. I just wasn't feeling up to scratch again. So the shakes I had yesterday came back. Anyway, I did a bit of tidying up. I wiped out the sink. I took out the rubbish, dried my towel, cleaned my comb, and made myself 2 soft-boiled eggs for lunch.
What did you eat them with?
With a teaspoon, of course.
A silver one?
I don't know. It might have been.
How many times have I told you not to use the silver teaspoons for eggs? You can't get them clean properly.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I forgot. Anyway, after lunch, I tried to read a bit, and then Edward here turned up.
In other words, not a lot.
Susanna, as you've managed to get some liver, why don't we have a special supper? I'll make mustard sauce, open a bottle of decent wine. We'll ask Lucy as well. I'm sure Edward would join us. And yeah, I think it would be good for me to let my hair down, take my mind off things, reminisce a little.
I'm sorry, Leopold, but I've got tickets for the cinema.
Well, how about after the cinema?
That's too late for me. You know I've got to be up early.
Edward.
Yes?
Will you think of me?
When?
Well, when I'm there.
You mustn't keep thinking about that all the time.
I don't keep thinking about it all the time. It just came into my head. I'm sorry.
Why don't you go for a walk once in a while?
Are you mad? Go out?
Why not?
Just be a nervous wreck the whole time, not knowing what's going on back here?
Nothing's going on back here.
I know, but how am I going to know that if I'm just gadding about somewhere else? What if they came just then?
They'd find you weren't at home. So what?
I couldn't possibly. What did I just tell you?
Is it them?
Should I open the door?
Yes, you have to.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Can we?
Do.
You don't remember us.
I can't place you at the moment.
We called on you once before, 2 years ago. You've obviously forgotten. I am Sydney, and he is also Sydney.
How do you do?
We won't hold you up long.
Do you need any paper?
You mean paper for writing on?
If you need any, we can get you some.
Really?
Seeing as we work in a paper mill.
Oh, you do?
No problem.
Susanna, these people are from the paper mill. It seems they've been here before.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. By the way, we've got a lot of interesting stuff from the mill. Minutes of meetings and so on. I'm sure you'd find it interesting.
I'm sure I would.
We bring it to you.
We know everything
Every what thing?
about you.
I see.
Hey, what Sydney is trying to say is we are fans, eh? Not just us either.
Thank you.
There's lots of people looking to you.
Thank you.
We all believe that it will all turn out all right for you in the end.
Well, I'm not sure.
The main thing is that you mustn't weaken. We need you, and we believe in you, you being the man that you are.
Thank you.
We're not holding you up, are we?
No,
Are you sure? Because if we are, you only have to say so and we'll push off.
you're not holding me up.
You know, I'm just an ordinary sort of gal, nobody, but I can spot a few things and I've got my own opinion and nobody can deny me that. And what I think is, there's a lot that could be done. Certainly more than is being done at the moment.
This is it.
Speaking for myself and Sydney here, we reckon, and this is partly why we are here, to our way of thinking that not all the possibilities have been exhausted. I would venture to say the most promising possibilities are still ahead of us. One has to take hold of the situation by the scruff of the neck.
What possibilities in particular did you have in mind?
Well, that would require some discussion, of course.
Well, at least tell me what direction we ought to be taking.
Different directions, all at the same time. Surely no one knows that better than you. In short, it seems to us that it's time to take the initiative. Something that would make them sit up.
I'm not sure that present circumstances differ significantly from the circumstances that have prevailed up to now, but even then, I'm not a priori against an initiative.
I'm glad we agree. Who else but you could get things going again?
Well, as for me,
We realize that things are probably not easy for you at the moment, but the respect in which you are held puts you under an obligation.
I know.
You know what is best to do. After all, you're a philosopher and I'm an ordinary gal and nobody. It goes without saying we're not forcing you. We haven't got the right. And furthermore, you can't be expected to do it for everybody all on your own. But that said, we think it is. And don't get me wrong here. I'll let you have it straight. That said, we are of the opinion that you could be doing more than you are in your place.
I'll think it over.
We're only saying this because we're your fans and not just us.
Thank you.
A lot of people are looking to you.
Thank you.
The main thing is that you mustn't weaken. We believe in you and we need you.
Thank you.
We're not holding you up, are we?
No.
One certainly could do more. You have to get a hold of the situation by the scruff of the neck. And who else but you is there to get things going again, eh?
Well, as for me,
We have faith in you.
And we need you.
Thank you.
We're not holding you up, are we?
No.
Are you really sure? Because if we are, you only have to say so and we'll push off.
You're not holding me up. Excuse me.
Hey, the main thing is you mustn't weaken.
Just a moment. I think somebody's coming.
I didn't get anything.
The respect in which you're held puts you under an obligation.
A friend of mine.
Hello, Leopold.
Come in, Lucy.
Oh, I see you've got company.
They're friends from the paper mill.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, miss.
Lucy, would you like some rum?
Do you know I don't drink rum?
How's life?
Depressing.
Why is that?
Loneliness.
These fine people think it's time to take the initiative.
Well, they've got something there. I brought you some vitamins.
You never forget.
No.
I'm told it's stifling today.
Ugh, stifling and humid.
Edward opened the balcony door, but I closed it again. I don't like drafts.
Oh, is Edward here?
Yes. Well, look how the evening's coming on. Still got a few things to do.
What have you got to do?
Things. Make some notes. Make some supper.
Lucy.
Susie! Darling, how's life?
No, never stops.
Oh, we must have a chat. I have so much to tell you.
No, me too, but some other time, all right. I'm in a rush.
Oh, hey, are you leaving?
I've got tickets for the cinema.
What a shame. I was so looking forward to seeing you.
Well, we shall look in on you soon.
Fine.
And we'll bring you that writing paper.
Fine.
And also the stuff from the paper mill.
Fine.
The main thing is keep your chin up.
Thank you.
When are you expecting them?
All the time.
We're with you. Stick with it. So long.
So long.
So long. May I ask who that was?
I don't know. They wanted something from me. I'm not sure what. I'm sure they mean well.
That sort of thing happens all the time around here, but I have to run. Edward, let's go. Bye for now.
Oh, bye, Susie.
Bye for now.
Do you love me? Really?
Really?
Well, why don't you say so sometimes without being asked? You never once.
As you know, I avoid off the peg expressions.
No, the simple truth is you're ashamed of loving me.
Phenomenology has taught me to always beware of the propositional statement that lies outside demonstrable experience. I prefer to say less than I feel rather than to risk saying more.
You think loving me is not a demonstrable experience?
Well, you may mean different things by the word love. Perhaps, though the difference may be small, the word denotes for me something on a higher plane than for you. Just a minute.
What is it?
I thought I heard someone coming.
I can't hear anything.
Forgive me, Lucy, but does our love have to consist solely in this endless examination of itself?
What do you expect when you're so evasive all the time?
It's just like all women, you long for security and men look for something higher.
Oh, well, then it's just my luck to keep picking lovers with a permanent crick in their neck.
Don't be disgusting.
What do you mean?
Please don't use the word lover. At least don't apply it to me.
Why?
It's disgusting.
Why?
It just turns man into nothing but an ever naked prick.
Oh, well, who's being disgusting now?
Listen, can I get you anything?
Is there any wine?
I'll get some. Well, cheers.
Cheers. So tell me,
What?
what did you do today?
I don't know.
Did you write?
I wanted to, but it wouldn't come. I wasn't feeling well.
Did you have your depression again?
That was another thing.
You won't get rid of it until you start writing. Everybody's waiting for your new piece.
That's just the trouble.
Yeah, but you had it all worked out.
What do you mean?
Well, just what you were telling me, that love is actually a dimension of being, that it gives fulfillment and meaning to existence.
I could not have made it sound like such a cliche.
Okay, well, no doubt you put it better.
It's funny, but when I run out of excuses for putting off writing and make up my mind to start, I stumble over the first banality, pencil or pen, which paper, and then this thing starts.
What thing?
The cycle thing.
What's that?
My thoughts just start going around in a loop. Look, do we have to talk about me?
You love to talk about yourself.
That's just what you think.
Oh,
Yes.
Leopold,
Yes.
I can help you break out of that.
How?
You need love. Real love. mad, passionate love, not that theoretical one that you write about.
I'm a little old for that.
No, you're not old. It's just that you have an emotional block. But I will unblock you.
How long has it been since you went out?
I don't know. Ages.
You don't go out at all then?
No.
How much do you drink?
It's the same as everyone else.
Starting in the morning?
As the case may be.
How do you sleep?
It varies.
You ever dream about them or dream that you're already there?
Sometimes.
Leopold,
Yes.
you don't doubt, do you, that we all liked you?
I know.
Leopold!
Just a minute.
Vitamins?
Yes.
Apart from vitamins, are you on anything else?
Not really. Why do you
There's
ask?
some talk.
What sort of talk?
Forget it. There are quite a few people complain that you never answer your letters.
Well, I never was much of a letter writer.
Well, there's no law about it. It's a pity that it lends support to the rumors
What rumors?
that you're no longer reliable. So
I reply to anything important. Maybe something got lost in the post
what
somewhere.
did you think of that collection?
What?
The
What
stuff
collection?
I lent you the other day.
Yes.
Have you read it?
To tell you the truth,
It's essential reading.
I know. That's why I couldn't just glance through it. There's a mood for everything. I can't just read anything anytime.
Leopold,
Yes,
you don't doubt, do you, that we all like you?
I know.
Leopold!
Just a minute.
Leopold,
Yes.
it goes without saying, it's your own business. You don't have to account to me.
What?
I'm asking as a friend.
I know.
Is it true you're seeing Lucy?
Well, it's not that simple.
And how are things between you and Susanna?
We get along.
Leopold,
Yes,
you don't doubt, do you, that we all like you?
I know.
Leopold!
Just a minute.
It's terrible, of course, to live with this nerve-wracking uncertainty. We all understand that. None of us knows how we'd stand it ourselves. That's why so many people are concerned about you. You have to understand that.
I do understand.
I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm really here on behalf of everyone.
Who's everyone?
Of friends,
Are you an emissary?
if you want to call it that.
Well, what are you concerned about specifically?
How shall I put it? I don't want to be hard on you or hurt you in any way, but on the other hand, I wouldn't be acting as a friend if I were to be less than frank.
What are you concerned about specifically?
How should I put it? It's not simply a general issue. It's mostly about you personally.
What are you concerned about specifically?
How should I put it? There's growing circumstantial evidence giving rise to certain speculations.
What circumstantial evidence? What
Your
speculation?
friends, and I won't deny I include myself, we've all for some time, and let's hope our fears are groundless, we've all for some time begun to question whether you might not crack under the strain, whether you will be able to meet all the claims which, thanks to all you've already done, the claims which are made on you, that you'll be able to fulfill the expectations which, forgive me, are rightly expected of you. If you'll be, in short, up to your mission, which is to do justice to those great obligations to the truth, to the world, to everyone for whom you set an example set by your own work, forgive me. But quite simply, we are beginning to be slightly afraid that you might let us down. And in doing so, bring upon yourself, forgive me, it would be bound to be so given your sensitivity, bring upon yourself endless agony. You're not sorry, are you, that I'm speaking so openly?
No, on the contrary.
Leopold!
Just a minute.
It's terrible, of course, to live with this nerve-wracking uncertainty. We all understand that. None of us knows how we'd stand it ourselves. That's why so many people are concerned about you. You have to understand that.
I do understand.
The more they count on you, the harder it would be for them if you fail to hold out in some way.
Look, people are calling on me all the time. Not long ago, a couple of workers from the paper mill showed up.
That's
Typical
certainly
workers,
excellent,
ordinary
but how
people.
should I put it?
What?
How should I put it?
How should you put what?
The question is whether a visit from a couple of paper mill workers, excellent though it is in itself, is simply or might become simply, forgive me, a kind of inaction. A leftover from a world which is no longer the case, whether you might not be playing a role in a mechanical, superficial way to reassure yourself that you are still the person to whom the role properly belonged. What is at stake here is that a gap should not open up between you and your role in society, so that your role, which is a true reflection of your personality, becomes a crutch to prop you up, circumstantial evidence of a supposed continuity of personality, but spurious, illusory, self-deceiving, by means of which you try to assure the world and yourself that you are still the person who you, in fact, no longer are. In short, that your role, which grew naturally out of your attitudes and your work, should not become a mere substitute, and that you don't attach to that role, which has long since kept going autonomously on its own momentum, don't attach to it the sole and lasting proof of your moral existence, and thus let your entire human identity hang on a visit from a couple of know-nothing workers from the paper mill. You're not angry, are you, that I'm speaking so openly?
No, on the contrary.
Leopold!
Just a minute.
It's terrible, of course, to live with this nerve-wracking uncertainty. We all understand that. None of us knows how we'd be able to stand it ourselves. That's why so many people are concerned about you. You have to understand that.
I do
You
understand.
have to believe me, too, that all I wish for is that we're worrying about nothing.
I do believe
And
you.
even if this danger, which we, your friends, worry about, is infinitesimal, I have a duty to you, to myself, to all of us, to confess these worries to you.
I understand.
By all the things you did and have been doing up to now, you've earned our respect and our love, and in doing so, you have suffered a great deal. Obviously, you are not a Superman, and the oppressive atmosphere in which you have had to live is bound to have left its mark. But all that said, I can't escape the awful feeling that lately something inside you has begun to collapse, as if an axis that has held you together has given way, as if the ground is collapsing under your feet, as if you've gone lame inside, that you are tending more and more to act the part of yourself instead of being yourself. Your personal life, that vital plank, is, don't be angry, in a mess. You're lacking a fixed point out of which everything inside you would grow and develop. You're losing the strength and perhaps even the will to put your affairs in order. You're erratic. You're letting yourself be tossed about by chance currents. You're sinking deeper and deeper into a void, and you can't get a grip on things. You're just waiting for what is going to happen. And so you're no longer the self-aware subject of your own life. You're turning into a passive object. You're obviously at the mercy of great demons, but they do not drive you in any direction. They merely drive about inside you. Your existence seems to have become a cumbersome burden to you, and you have really settled for listening helplessly to the passing of the time. What happened to your perspective on things, to your humor, your industry and persistence, the pointedness of your observations, your irony and self-irony, your capacity for enthusiasm, for emotional involvement, for commitment, even for sacrifice? I fear for you, Leopold. I fear for us. We need you. You have no idea how we need you. We need you the way you used to be. So I'm asking you to swear that you won't give up. Don't weaken. Keep at it. Get a grip on yourself. Pull yourself together. Straighten up, Leopold.
Yes.
You don't doubt, do you, that we all like you?
I know.
So I beg you, be again the brilliant Leopold Nettles whom everybody held on high.
Bertram.
Oh, Lucy.
Can't you see he's cold?
He never mentioned it.
Also, it's late.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Forgive me. Sorry, I didn't realize. I'm just going.
Look, you don't have to rush. Stay the night if you like.
No, thank you. And So long.
So long. And don't be offended.
Oh, that's quite all right. It was presumptuous of me for so long.
Cheerio, and do come again sometime.
Glad to.
You didn't have to push him out like that.
Ugh, he would have been sitting here all night, and I want you for myself. We get so little time.
It's not the best thing in the world that he saw you here.
Why?
You know how much talk there's going to be now?
So what? Or are you ashamed of me?
It's not that.
Then why do you treat me like a stranger in front of other people?
I don't, do I?
Yes, you do. I can't remember you ever taking my hand in company or touching me or even a fond glance.
Look, hadn't we better go to bed?
No,
Why?
because I want to have a serious talk with you.
About our relationship?
Yes.
Well, in that case, at least fetch me a blanket.
I knew that this wasn't going to be easy for me. And you know that I made a few sacrifices. And what I am trying to say, reluctantly, but I have to say it. Look, I respect your idiosyncrasies.
You mean what happened? What didn't happen? I mean, in there, I've already explained, I haven't been feeling up to the mark today.
That's not what I meant. But if we are going to talk about it, then there's other reasons behind it.
Oh, such as?
You are simply blocked. You are censoring yourself. You're afraid to give any emotion or experience. You're controlling and observing and watching yourself every minute, and you're thinking about it. So in the end, it's duty instead of pleasure. And then, of course, it doesn't work. But that's my problem. I mean, I wasn't going to talk about it now.
About what then?
Well, everything I've done for us. I have done it freely and willingly, and I am not complaining. I don't want anything in return. I only want for you to say what's true.
What do you mean?
That we're seeing each other, that we're lovers, that we love each other.
Have I ever denied it?
Well, forgive me, but you do everything you can to deny it, to make it invisible, to avoid acknowledging it. You behave as if it wasn't there.
I'm possibly more reserved about some things than I should be, but forgive me, you're partly to blame.
Me? How?
Yeah, you know, I'm really afraid of you.
Me?
Your ceaseless effort to give a name to our relationship, to make your status somehow official, the way you defend your territory, but quietly, relentlessly trying to enlarge it, the way you have to discuss it endlessly, all that quite naturally makes me defensive. By my reserve, my wariness, even a mild cynicism, I've been compensating for a subconscious fear of being manipulated, if not outright colonized. And I reproach myself bitterly for my behavior, but I can't overcome it.
But I ask so little of you. You must see that I live only for you and through you. And all I want is for you to admit to yourself that you love me. And I believe that you love me. I don't believe that you're incapable of love. I don't believe that my love is incapable of awakening love even in you. I'm on your side. Without love, no one is a complete person. We only achieve an identity through the person who's next to us. Isn't that how you put it in your ontology of the human self? Oh, you will see that if you lose these ridiculous inhibitions, and you'll come alive again. And even your work will get better than you can imagine.
I feel sorry for you, Lucy.
Why?
You deserve someone better. I'm just worthless.
Oh, I don't like you talking about yourself like that.
It's true, Lucy. I can't get rid of the awful feeling that lately something's begun to collapse beneath me. Some axis that was holding me together is broken and the ground is collapsing beneath my feet as if I'd gone lame inside. I sometimes have the feeling that I'm acting the part of myself instead of being myself. I'm lacking a fixed point out of which I could grow and develop, and I'm erratic. I'm letting myself be tossed about on chance currents. I'm sinking deeper and deeper into a void, and I can no longer get a grip on things. In truth, I'm just waiting for this thing that's going to happen, and I'm no longer the self-aware subject of my own life, but merely its passive object. And sometimes I have the feeling that all I'm doing is listening helplessly to the passing of the time. What happened to my perspective on things, my humor, my industry and persistence, the pointedness of my observations, my irony and self-irony, my capacity for enthusiasm, for emotional involvement, for commitment, even for sacrifice, the oppressive atmosphere in which I've been forced to live for so long is bound to have left its mark. And so outwardly, I go on acting my role as if nothing's happened, but inside, I'm no longer the person that you all take me for. It's hard to admit it to myself, but if I can, all the more reason for you to. And it's a touching and beautiful thing that you don't lose hope of making me into someone better than I am, but don't be angry. It's an illusion. I've fallen apart. I'm paralyzed. I won't change. And it would be best if they came for me and took me where I would no longer be the cause of unhappiness and disillusion. Lucy. There, Lucy. What's the matter? Are you crying, Lucy? Why are you crying? Don't cry. I didn't want to upset you. I didn't realize.
Don't touch me.
What is the matter?
Leave me alone.
There. What have I done now?
You are a worse case than I thought.
How do you mean?
All this talk, it is nothing but excuses. Oh, you sang a different tune the first time you got me to stay with you. Oh, you said our relationship would give you back some of your lost integrity, that it would renew your hope, that it would put you back together emotionally, oh, that it would open a door into a new life. You just say what suits you. No, Leopold, you are no broken wreck. You are an ordinary bullshit artist. And now you've had enough of me, and you want to get shot at me. So you paint this picture of your ruin to make me understand that there's nothing more that I can expect from you. And on top of that, to make me feel sorry for you. You're ruined, all right. But not in the way that you say. It is your dishonesty that shows how ruined you are. And, simpleton that I am, I believed that I could awaken love in you, that I could give you back your zest for life, and that I'd help you. You're beyond help. Serves me right. One great illusion less.
You're being unfair, Lucy. I really am going through a crisis. Even Bertram says so.
Oh, please. Don't go on. There's no point. I'm getting dressed.
Don't be silly, Lucy. This is no way to part. It's them.
What are we going to do?
I don't know. Go in the bedroom. I'll let them in.
No, I'm staying with you.
Good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
Suppose you know who we are.
I suppose so.
You thought we wouldn't come anymore today, did ya?
I realize you can come anytime.
Must apologize for the intrusion. Ooh, you obviously had other plans for the evening.
What plans I had are my own business.
We possibly won't keep you long. That depends on you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. According to our colleagues, you're a sensible chap, so with some luck, we'll soon come to an understanding.
I don't know what there is to understand. I've got my things ready. I just need time to get dressed.
What's the hurry? It might not come as a worst.
But we must ask the lady to kindly leave.
Oh, I'm staying.
Oh no, you're leaving.
My friend can't leave now.
Why?
She's got nowhere to go.
Ooh, in that case, we'll put her up for the night.
Oh, no, you won't.
Watch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you bastards.
Don't touch her.
Yeah. Help!
That wasn't necessary, was it?
You don't have to worry about your girlfriend. No one's gonna harm her. As soon as she comes to her senses, we'll take her home. You don't think we'd let her run around the streets in a bedspread?
We're not inhuman. You can be sure of that. We're sorry about that little incident, but don't give it another thought. We're better off this way. It wouldn't be very nice for you to have your girlfriend see this.
Miss Susanna isn't at home then.
We know she's at the cinema.
Won't you talk to us?
What are you writing at the moment, may one ask?
What does it matter?
No harm in asking.
When was the last time you went out?
I don't know.
It was some time ago, wasn't it?
Huh.
Ooh. Vitamins.
Yes.
Apart from vitamins, you want anything?
Not really. Why?
There's been some talk.
What sort of talk?
Forget it.
How much do you drink?
The same as everyone else.
Starting in the morning?
As the case may be.
Well, look, Professor, we won't drag this out unnecessarily. We're here because we've been given the job of putting a proposition to you.
A proposition?
Yes. As you know only too well, you're being threatened with something unpleasant, which I personally wouldn't wish upon you, and I don't suppose you are particularly looking forward to it yourself.
In a way, it might be better than...
No, Professor. No blasphemy.
As you've been told many times before, it's not our business to push these things to extremes. On the contrary, we want to avoid confrontations so that if possible, things don't come to the worst.
Not in our interests.
And in some cases, when there is no better alternative, we even look for ways to achieve our object without having to go down every twist and turn of the path.
We always try to give people another chance.
And that's why we're here. We've been given the job of notifying you that under certain conditions, this whole matter could be dropped.
Dropped? How?
The whole thing could be declared null and void.
Well, under what conditions?
As you know, what's coming to you is coming to you because under the name of Professor Leopold Nettles, you put together a certain paper.
An essay, as you call it.
You never denied it. And in effect, therefore, you brought the whole thing upon yourself. By this act of non-denial, you unmasked the perpetrator.
As a man of wide knowledge, you must be aware that if the perpetrator isn't known, one cannot proceed against him. This is known as the principle of the identity of the perpetrator.
In a word, if you would sign here and now a short statement saying that you are not Professor Leopold Nettles, author of the paper in question, and the whole thing would be considered null and void and all previous decisions rescinded.
If I understand you correctly, you want me to declare that I'm no longer me?
That's a way of putting it that might do for a philosopher. But of course, from a legal point of view, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, it is not a matter of you declaring that you are no longer you, but only declaring that you are not the same person who is the author of that thing. Essentially, it's a formality.
One name being like another name.
Or do you think Nettles is such a beautiful name that you couldn't bear to lose it? You only have to look in the phone book to see how many equally nice names there are, and most of them even nicer.
Do you mean that I have to change my name?
Not at all. You can have whatever name you like. It's entirely up to you. Nobody, at least in this instance, could care less. The only thing which is important here is whether you are or are not the Nettles who wrote that paper.
If you insist on keeping your name for sentimental reasons, then by all means keep it.
Though there's no denying it would be neater if you were to decide otherwise.
It would be neater, but it's not essential. After all, there could be more than one Leopold Nettles.
There are 3 just in the phone book.
In other words, it is not so much a question of whether you are Nettles or Nicholson, but rather whether you are the Nettles who wrote the paper.
You have to admit it's a good offer.
I don't understand what you'll achieve by it, or why, in that case, you're proposing it. As far as I know, you never do anything without a reason.
Our interest is to wipe this unpleasant business off the slate and give you one more chance.
What chance?
To keep out of trouble till the next time.
Well, I don't like it much.
Now, look, whether you like it or not is your own affair. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Nobody can force you. But I am telling you, man to man, you'd be making a mistake. You didn't go along with it.
It's a free gift.
No one will know a thing so long as you don't go prattling on about it. And even if it does get around, everyone will understand why you did it.
They'd all do exactly the same.
Many of them have already done it. What harm has it done them? None.
If you're hesitating, the only explanation I can think of is that you have no idea what's coming to you.
Would I have to do it right this minute?
It would be best, of course.
No, this is definitely serious enough to require some reflection.
If you want to take the risk.
What risk?
Look, we've been given the job of notifying you. Well, we have notified you. We don't make the decisions.
Where's small fry?
We can't be expected to know, of course, what the relevant parties will make of all this whole business.
All we can do is pass on your request for time to consider.
But surely it can't make much difference to them whether it's going to be today or the day after tomorrow.
You must understand, their goodwill is not some kind of balloon which can be expanded indefinitely.
I do understand.
Don't be a fool, man. Here's a chance. With one stroke of the pen to rid yourself of everything that's piled on your head, all the shit. A chance for a completely fresh start. It's once in a lifetime. What I wouldn't give for such a chance.
Let's have a look.
Well, what's it to be?
Hello.
Isn't Edward here?
He hasn't come yet. Did you get any vegetables?
A cauliflower.
Oh, you didn't. Susanna,
Yes,
they were here.
they were.
Yes,
When?
during the night.
And how come you're here?
I'll explain.
Did you promise them anything?
No,
You didn't get into trouble again in some way, did you?
no.
What happened then?
When you went out to the cinema with Edward, Lucy and I cooked ourselves that liver
Cooked it in what?
in a frying pan.
Which one?
The new one.
And you left it in a mess?
We scrubbed it
With what?
with washing powder.
I might have known you know very well you should use washing powder on it.
It's all right. You can have a look. Then we talked for a while, and then Bertram turned up, apparently on behalf of several friends. They said that they were concerned about me, that I was in a bad way, that my home life was a mess, that I was erratic, that I wasn't doing anything.
I've been telling you that for ages.
When Bertram left, then Lucy and I had a bit of a row.
What about?
It's complicated. Basically, she complains that I don't love her enough, that I'm evasive, that I don't make it clear in company that we belong to each other, and so on. And when I honestly tried to explain things to her, she said I was making excuses.
Well, does that surprise you?
I know what she means, but what am I supposed to do?
Well, if you don't know.
Before she could leave, they came. And then because she insisted on staying, they just dragged her away.
Is she out yet?
I don't know, perhaps.
What do you mean you don't know? Haven't you gone to see her?
I can't possibly leave here, not now.
Of course. And what about them?
Well, apparently I won't have to go there if I make a statement that I'm not the author of if I simply say I'm somebody else.
Somebody else? Well, that would just suit them. Denounce yourself and spit on your own work?
They're not asking me to make a value judgment. They just want a formal excuse to drop the whole thing. They're obviously worried that once I get there, it would only increase the respect in which I'm held.
Whereas if you were to recant, you'd lose it all. Obviously, that would be much more to their liking. I hope you threw them out.
I asked for time to consider.
What?
There's nothing to it, surely.
Have you gone mad? What is there to consider? That's just showing them that they're halfway to breaking you, and now they'll increase the pressure. Ugh. I knew as soon as I saw you that you'd got yourself into trouble, you wet.
Well, it's all very well for you to talk.
No, if you can't take it, you should never have got into it.
Susanna.
Leave me alone.
At last.
Has something happened?
I rang 3 times.
I was getting myself together.
Can I open it a bit?
Go ahead.
I'm relieved to find you here.
You know then?
Lucy came to see me.
Oh, so she's out
What did they want?
to negotiate.
Did you sign anything?
I asked for time to consider.
When will they be back?
They never say.
You ought to go and see Lucy. She's having a bad time one way and another.
I can't possibly leave here, not now.
Is Susanna at home?
Yes, she was just asking for you. Do you mind if I close it now?
Leave it a while.
That's a nice outfit you've got on.
It's a dinner jacket. My uncle lent it to me.
I know it's a dinner jacket. It's nice.
You know my uncle. How did you sleep?
Hardly at all.
You couldn't get them out of your mind, could you?
Well,
Did you go this morning?
yes.
Well, that's something anyway.
Not much of a thing as it happens.
What did you eat?
I wasn't hungry. I just ate a couple of onions and 5 almonds to calm down.
And did it?
Not really.
The main thing is that you're here.
Oh, I'd rather be there than here like this. Why can't I get my life clear? It was wonderful when no one was interested in me, when no one expected anything from me. No one was urging me to do something. I just browsed around the secondhand bookshops, studying the modern philosophers at my leisure, spending the nights making notes from their works, taking walks in the park and meditating. Why can't I change my name to Nicholson and just forget everything and start a completely new life?
Perhaps you need some of your pills.
I splash water on my face. I don't want pills. I don't want to get dependent on them.
Nothing. Leopold, come on. Don't be silly, Leopold. Face up to it. I'll tell them you're not at home if you like, but it would be better to get it over with.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is the professor in?
Good afternoon.
Here we are, Professor.
Excellent.
We've got it.
What?
These are the blank papers. Those are normal office issue. These are for carbon copies. These are the carbon copies. And here we have various envelopes and files and so on.
Is that all for me? How much do I owe you?
Oh, do me a favor, Professor. What do you take us for?
Well, thank you very much. I think that should last me.
We are looking forward to what will be writing on these bits of paper.
Well, and this is the stuff from our plant. These are the minutes of the board of management. These are the minutes of the paper mill employees. And these are specimens of factory correspondence. Here we have various memos, internal regulations, information for the workforce, overtime salaries. And this is especially interesting. It's from the personnel department. Personal records of employees, various complaints, returns, and denunciations.
I think it will make very nice reading for you.
Use it as you see fit.
If you can do anything with this, will certainly be a bombshell.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So,
Where do you want it?
in this corner here. There's a lot of it.
For you, we'd steal the whole paper mill if we had to.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting you so soon.
I must strike while the iron is hot. That's what me and Sydney always say.
Very well put. I don't know how I'm ever going to repay you.
What is there to repay? We've already much now tonight. What is there to repay? We already told you we're your fans and not just us.
There's lots of people looking to you.
Thank you. Wasn't expecting you so soon.
One must strike while the iron is hot. That's what me and Sydney always say.
Very well put. I don't know how I'm ever going to repay you.
What's there to repay? We've already told you that we're your fans and not just us.
There's lots of people looking to you.
I don't know how I'll ever repay you.
What is there to repay? We already told you we're your fans and not just us.
Excuse me.
Could I ask you for something?
I'm at your disposal.
Would there be any chance for a glass of rum?
Yes, of course.
Just to clarify, I am a teetotaler. I was asking for Sydney here. She drinks like a fish.
cheers. Oh, thanks. Cheers. Thanks. Cheers.
Look, Susanna, these fine people have brought me this paper and all sorts of interesting stuff.
Where's it gonna go?
I'll find somewhere. That's a nice dress.
Thanks. Cheers. Thanks. Cheers. Ooh, thanks. Cheers. Thanks. Cheers. Someone has to be sensible.
We're not holding you up, are we?
No.
Are you sure? Because if we are, you only have to say so and we'll push off.
You're not holding me up. Excuse me.
Have you thought about it yet?
Or what?
What we were talking about yesterday, that it's time for an initiative.
Yes, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Pity. You know, I'm an ordinary bloke, nobody, but I can spot a few things and I've got my own opinion and nobody can deny me that. And what I think is there is a lot that could be done. Certainly more than is being done at the moment.
One just has to get hold of the situation.
And who else but you is there to get things going again?
We're not holding you up, are we?
No.
Are you sure? Because if you are, you only have to say so and we will push off.
You're not holding me up. Excuse me.
That thing you wrote, even if we don't fully understand it.
Ordinary
And the fact that you're right
people,
behind it.
regardless of the consequences.
Straight away leads one to hope that you will take the final step.
What final step?
I'm not really good at explaining myself, but let me put it like this. That whatever you're writing, you will turn it into something that will have a practical effect.
To put it simply, that you'll come up with the payoff to all your philosophizing.
Well, the trouble is that opinions differ on quite what the payoff is.
You'll find it.
Who else but you is there to get things going again?
I'd say that's just what people are waiting for.
What people?
Everybody.
Isn't that a bit of an exaggeration?
Forgive me, but you probably don't realize.
What?
Your responsibility.
For what?
For everything.
We're not holding you up.
No.
Are you sure? Because if we are, you only...
Have to say so and we'll push off.
You're not holding me up. Excuse me.
Sydney and I were giving it a bit of thought the other day.
And we got the following idea.
We think he's quite good.
What idea?
This could be exactly the step that everyone is waiting for you to take.
What?
That you should write a kind of declaration.
What kind of declaration?
Quite simply a kind of general declaration covering all of the basics.
It will have to be brief and easy to understand, of course.
In other words, you'll have to spend some time on it.
You've got plenty of paper now.
Look, forgive me, but I'm not quite clear about. Are you leaving?
Why?
Well, I thought that we might, since you got that cauliflower, and I thought since I need to calm down a bit, we might examine everything calmly and eat cauliflower, discuss.
Forgive me, Leopold, but I've got tickets for a dance. I bought them ages ago.
I see.
It's my first dance this year.
I understand.
Not that I know what there is to discuss. I've already given you my opinion.
Look, I just thought, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, so long.
So long, Leopold, and get to bed soon. Get some sleep.
What aren't you clear?
I beg your pardon?
You were saying that you were unclear about something?
Yes, look, don't be angry, but I'm not really quite clear about what exactly you want from me.
Well, Professor, you obviously got us wrong. We don't want anything from
We've
you.
only taken the liberty of giving you our opinion.
It's the opinion of ordinary people.
Of lots of ordinary people.
We only wanted to offer a suggestion.
We meant well.
We cannot help being able to express ourselves exactly.
We're no philosophers.
We just thought you might be interested in our opinion.
Is representing the opinion of the ordinary.
I'm not saying I'm not interested in your opinion.
Well, you seem to be implying that we're confusing you.
I'm not suggesting anything of the sort.
You were saying that you weren't clear about what we want from you.
I don't exactly know what I was saying.
But we know.
I don't want to be hard. I don't want to be hard on you or hurt you in any way.
Were you worried?
I'm not just speaking for myself.
Perhaps you should take some pills.
Oh, you sang a different tune the first time you got me to stay here with you.
You want to go and see Lucy.
See what people are waiting for.
You'll find a way.
What is there to consider, for goodness sake?
And how are things between you and Susanna?
Oh, you've had enough of me and now you want to be shot of me.
Did you sign anything?
We've only taken the liberty of giving you our opinion.
The opinion of ordinary
Lots
people.
of ordinary people.
Some hero.
Some hero.
Some hero.
Some hero.
You've had enough of me and now you want to get shot of me?
Some hero.
Did you sign anything?
Get out!
Good evening,
Good evening.
Professor Nettles.
Yes.
Sorry to disturb you.
You're not disturbing me.
I won't hold you up for long.
I've got time.
My name's Marguerite. I'm a student of philosophy.
At the university or a private student?
Both.
Well, come in.
Thank you.
Would you like some rum?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm not used to rum.
One glass won't do you any harm.
Well, thank you.
Not bad, is it?
No. You'll catch cold.
Oh, yes, of course.
I know your work.
Really? Which?
Phenomenology of responsibility, love and nothingness, ontology of the human self.
You've read all of those?
Oh, yes, several times.
Well, I am impressed.
I hear ontology of the human self got you into trouble.
That's because of that I'm supposed to go there.
What? Straight there? How come?
Paragraph 511, intellectual hooliganism.
It's awful.
That's the sort of world we're living in.
Such beautiful thoughts.
Apparently, somebody didn't think they were so beautiful.
And is it definite?
Well, I could get out of it by denying that I wrote it.
Is that what they're offering you?
Yes.
They're disgusting. Your essays have given me a great deal of...
Yes, I'm so glad.
It's because of them that I became interested in philosophy.
Really?
Somehow, they opened my eyes.
You're exaggerating.
Really?
Have another drink.
Are you rating anything?
I'm trying to.
Could you tell me? Excuse my curiosity. Could you tell me what you're writing?
I'm trying to think of love as a dimension of being.
Oh, you touched a little on that on chapter 2, Love and Nothingness.
That's right.
Professor,
Yes, Marguerite.
I wouldn't dare to bother you.
Oh, you're not bothering me at all. On the contrary, I'm very pleased to have met you.
If it wasn't for the fact that I'm sure you're the only person who can help me.
What's the matter?
It's going to sound silly.
You can tell me.
I'm suddenly embarrassed.
There's no need.
Where should I begin? I just don't know what to do
In your studies?
in my life.
In your life?
I find everything so stifling. All those hopeless faces in the bus queues, the endless hue and cry in the streets, people twisted out of shape in their offices and everywhere else, the general misery of life. Forgive me, I know it sounds silly, but you don't even know me, and I just didn't know anyone else I could turn to.
I'm delighted that you would confide in me.
I don't get on with my parents. They're middle-class types who are always watching TV. No boyfriend. The other students seem terribly superficial.
I know what you mean.
You're not angry?
Why do you make excuses for yourself all the time? What greater satisfaction could there be for a philosopher than to receive a visit from a reader in mid-crisis about the meaning of life?
I know that you can't solve my problems for me.
Well, you're right in the sense that the meaning of life is not something which one can summarize or verbalize one way or another and then hand over like a piece of information. It's not an object. It's more like an elusive spiritual state. And the more one needs it, the more elusive it becomes.
Yes, that's exactly.
On the other hand, there is the fact, as I've already tried to show in Ontology of the Human Self, that there's a certain nonverbal existential space in which, and only in which, you can get a hold of something through experiencing the presence of another person.
Forgive me. It's exactly that part. It's from chapter 4, which made me decide to come and see you.
There you are. I wouldn't want to raise your hopes unduly, though, because the fact that I'm meditating on this subject doesn't mean that I'm automatically capable of creating such a space.
But you've been creating it for ages by talking to me at all, by understanding me. Forgive me, I'm probably already a bit tipsy.
Not at all. Drink up. I'll tell you something, Marguerite. Honesty deserves honesty. If I'm able to understand you, it's mainly because I'm in a similar or perhaps even worse situation than you.
You? I can't believe it. You know so much. You've achieved so much. You're so wise.
That guarantees nothing.
I'm only a silly girl, but
You're not silly.
I am. I know it.
You're clever, Marguerite. And not only that, you're beautiful.
Me? Well, whatever. Next.
I'll be quite frank with you, Marguerite. I'm in a very bad way.
I know life has been hard on you, but you seem so strong.
Alas, that's only appearance. In reality, I've had the feeling for some time now that something's collapsing inside of me, as if an axis holding me together has started to break and the ground crumbling under my feet. I lack a fixed point out of which everything inside of me could grow and develop. And I get the feeling sometimes that I'm not really doing anything except listening helplessly to the time going by. Gone is the perspective I once had. my humor, my industry and persistence, the pointedness of my observations.
How beautifully you put it.
You should have known me before. It's all gone. My irony, my self-irony, my capacity for enthusiasm, for emotional involvement, for commitment, even for sacrifice. This might disappoint you, Marguerite, but for a long time, I haven't been the person that you take me for. Basically, I'm just a tired, dried out, broken man.
You mustn't speak like that, Professor. You're too hard on yourself. But even if it were all true, the very fact that you are reflecting upon your situation shows that all is not lost.
You're good to me, Marguerite, but please don't call me Professor. It sounds so formal. Why aren't you drinking?
So many people think so highly of you. Doesn't that alone give you strength?
On the contrary, I often say to myself how wonderful it was when nobody was interested in me, when nobody expected anything from me, no one was urging me to do things. I used to browse around the secondhand bookshops, studying modern philosophers at my leisure, making notes from their works at night, and taking walks in the park and meditating.
It's thanks to you all that you are what you are today.
That's true, but it's also true that I've taken upon myself a heavier burden than I'm able to bear.
Leopold, I believe that you will win through.
I have a feeling my only way out is to accept a term there somewhere far away from my nearest and dearest and put my humble trust in a higher will. Give me the chance to atone for my guilt, to lose my apathy, regain my pride, and as a nameless cog in a giant machine, to purify myself. Thus and only thus, if I manage to drain the bitter cup with dignity, I can get back somehow, perhaps, part of my lost human integrity, renew the hope inside of me, reconstitute myself emotionally, open the door to a new life.
Leopold!
Yes.
Don't you see that the punishment is deeply unjust? And if you try, however honorably, to turn it into a purifying experience, you'd just be agreeing with it and so prostrating yourself before it. And what's more, by giving it this so-called meaning, you're hiding from yourself the very fact that you're clinging to it as a kind of escape from your life, a way out of your problems. But however far they send you, punishment won't solve what you can't solve yourself. Don't you understand that you've done nothing and so there's nothing to atone? You're innocent.
Marguerite, why didn't I meet you before it was too late?
Leopold,
Yes.
do you love anybody?
My dear girl, I don't think I'm even capable of love.
Don't tell me that you've never felt anything towards a woman.
Nervousness, more with some, less with others.
You love. Mad, passionate, true love. Didn't you yourself write in Phenomenology of Responsibility that a person who doesn't love doesn't exist? Only love will give you the strength to stand up to them.
Oh, that's easy for you to say, Marguerite, but where would one find it?
With me.
With you.
Yes. You have given me back the meaning to my life, which is to give you the meaning back to yours. I'll save you.
You're wonderful, Marguerite, but I can't allow you to throw your life away on someone as worthless as myself.
On the contrary, I would be fulfilling my life.
Apart from the fact that I'm an older man.
And that's nonsense. I've made up my mind.
If I had known it was come to this, I would never have told you my problems.
Oh, thank goodness you did. I'll give you back strength, courage, self-confidence, joy, appetite for life. I'll bring your failing heart back to life. I know you're capable of love. How else could you have written those things? I'll bring you back to love and at the same time, back to philosophy. Oh, Leopold, I love you. I love your words, you awoke my love a long time ago without knowing it, without my knowing it, and now I'll awaken love in you.
Quick, go out on the balcony. They'll drag you off.
On your own today?
Officers, do your duty. I'll get ready.
Well, what's the hurry? It might not come to the worst.
Come in, my little one.
Don't you dare touch her. If you drag her off, then
Then what?
I'll
Don't you worry. There's no need for her to go anywhere. Today, there'd be no point.
Well, you're right. Because as you're obviously aware, I'm not going to sign that statement. I'd rather die than give up my own human identity. It's the only thing I've got left.
But Professor, what are you carrying on like this? You're not going anywhere.
Why not? I've already told you quite clearly, I'm not going to sign anything. I'm not guilty.
You don't have to sign anything. Your case has been adjourned indefinitely.
Indefinitely for the time being.
For the time being.
Without signature.
What? Adjourned?
Adjourned.
You mean no signature and no there either?
For the time being, mine. For the time being.
I don't understand what it means. Why don't you want my signature anymore?
It would just be a formality. Who needs it? It's become pretty clear by now that in your case, it would be superfluous.
Are you trying to say that I'm no longer me?
You said it, not me.
I don't want an adjournment. I want to go there. I'm begging you. I beseech you. I can't go on living like this.
Seems you'll have to.
Leopold, you're not going to beg them, are you?
Leave me alone. All of you. Leave me alone.